In this video, I want to get into an important topic as you start to learn scripts in the FileMaker platform. Now, in a FileMaker file, as you build tables and fields, you understand that a table is a grouping of like data, right? And you have these fields which belong to the table. So there's kind of this linkage, this ownership of tables and fields together. They kind of work together and very much one is attached to the other. When you define a script in FileMaker, that script does not specifically belong to any table or any layout or any field, for example. And so understand that as you define scripts within a FileMaker file, that script can be activated, if you choose, by any number of buttons on any number of different layouts, right? Now, this might not be a good idea, but it's something that you need to understand. And that is that as you define a script, it really doesn't belong to any one entity. And because it can be activated from a number of different locations, we are forced to deal with this concept called context. And context is the number one thing that will cause your scripts to not work correctly as you expect them to. Now, when I boil this down and put it into plain English, when you write a script or plan out a script, you have a thought process about who's going to activate it and under what conditions they're going to activate the script, right? We talked about that in the previous video. Well, in your mind, you understand the target person that will activate this script. And you also, in your mind, and maybe even written on your plans, you have a target scenario from which they would activate it. So if it's the end of the month and the person is on this invoicing screen, I want to press a button to see all the past due invoices that have not been paid. And so you would say, for example, want to write a script that is going to find all the past due invoices, maybe create a list of those, maybe sort them, maybe email the list, maybe print it. But you get the idea. There's a specific scenario there and you've thought it out. Well, what happens is that the scripts cannot read your mind. Now, of course, that is an obvious statement. But the problem is that new people who write scripts don't understand that they have to explain to the script where it's at, right? And so when you run a script, the script has no idea really where it should be. So when you run a script, because you can activate it from anywhere, the script runs from the context of where you activated it. So if you build a script that's specific to invoicing and it says, go to this invoice and adjust the tax rate. Say, for example, we're going to write a script that's going to fix the tax percentage. It's going to check the local tax rates and it's going to adjust the invoice tax rate based upon the customer, right? If you're in the EU, you have different tax rates based upon products. In the United States, you have different tax rates based upon where the customer is at and where the product delivery takes place. And so there are situations where you might want to adjust that rate. So what if you have a script that adjusts the rate? Well, that script could technically be accessed and activated from anywhere. What if you activated it from the contacts layout by accident? Well, it could happen. So when you write the script that's going to fix the tax rate on an invoice, in your mind you're going, oh, well, yeah, the script is going to be on this layout. It's going to fix these fields. But what if the script is not even on that layout? What if it's somewhere else? You activate it from some other location. And of course, you're asking yourself, well, how would that ever happen? Well, it happens all the time. It's one of the number one bug issues that occur with people trying to debug scripts. And that is that they're running the script. The code is correct if the script starts in the correct location. So let me give you an example. Say that I write a computer program for an automatic robot to go shopping at my local grocery store. It's a new product for this new venture capital company, and all you have to do is tell it what to go get. Now, at the end of the day, let's say that the robot does not have magical artificial intelligence, so you have to give it step-by-step instructions. So we're going to write a program for the robot to go get us some Raisin Bran cereal. I love Raisin Bran, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to say, the first step is go forward 50 feet down the aisle, turn right and go down 30 feet, and then stop and look to the right at 5 feet and grab the box, and then put that in the cart. Those steps are go forward, then go right, and then look right again. Now, those instructions are perfectly valid and will work great if we know where the robot's at and the robot knows where it's at when it runs it, i.e., the robot always starts from the same place. But what if the robot was on the other side of the building and you said, oh, I want to add Raisin Bran to this order, and you give the robot the same instructions? Well, going forward 50 feet and then turning right and then looking to the right again will get you something totally different. And that describes the issue of context. The instructions are valid for a given context, right? And so in the robot case, you might tell the robot before it does anything else, come to the front of the store and reset, and then start from there and then move forward. In the case of FileMaker, you're going to take that script that you wrote and you need to provide it a couple key elements. You need to tell the script what layout it should be on. You should tell the script what the found set should be or what record it should be on. And then you should also give it the sort order. Those are typically the three most common items that will cause the context to go badly. So once again, if you tell it to go to the layout of invoices, right, to set the tax rate adjustment, and you're already there, it doesn't matter, right? But if you're somewhere else and it sees that it needs to be on the invoice data entry screen, it's actually going to jump to that layout. If the script is to adjust a certain person's tax rate, you need to tell that script to go to that certain person. And if there's a sort order that plays into it, say you have a found set of records, say for example, you're doing your find for people who are past due on invoices. Well, you might want to sort those by geographical region or sort those people by last name, or maybe sort them by different months. Maybe you have some people who are way past on invoices, maybe 6 months or so. So you might want to sort it by date, right? And so all these things you need to tell your script to do, because otherwise it may start from an incorrect location. If your script starts in the contact screen and then tries to adjust the tax rate without going to the invoices screen first, it's not going to work. You will wonder why bizarre things are happening in your FileMaker custom application. So context is very important, right? Understand the idea of the robot analogy in the supermarket, because that's very relevant in this situation. When you give instructions, you have to have a common starting point where you expect it to be and where that script expects to be. And of course, this implies one last thing that I haven't said, which is that when you run the script, basically FileMaker takes control of your client software on your computer and does those steps for you at very high speed. That's all the script is. And so at a very rudimentary level, you're going to write the script, and then any of your users or clients, once again on mobile devices or Mac or Windows computers or even on a browser somewhere, they're going to be able to activate that script. So it's important to understand that the script or program that you're writing is effectively a high-speed user that's going to do some things for you at very high speed. And when you run it, it takes over your local computer and does the work for you very fast, literally in milliseconds. So that level of automation can really make your business or your organization operate much more smoothly. So just think about context as we go forward, and I'll catch you in the next video.